Imagine you have just landed at London Heathrow Airport and you stopped at the border immigration counter by the entry clearance official, and they have just told you that you will be interviewed in private. Now, this is a pretty serious situation, but it is manageable. So, what you should be bearing in mind, you need to make sure that you're carrying all the supporting documentation, that you or someone who's filled up your form in the visa application form is with you, so that you do not end up making a mistake of either having a deviation between what was entered in the UK visa application form and what you're about to answer. Remember that you are there to ensure you answer the question to the best of your ability and as accurately as possible. Do not make the mistake of just saying yes to everything if you're not sure about it. Do not speculate by saying, I may stay for, let's say, 20 to 25 days, but in the application form, you said that you're going to stay for 7 days, because that will be deemed as a deviation from what you actually submitted in the application form and what you're answering as a question, one under caution. Now, mind you that at the time when you're asking the question, you have the right to ask for an interpreter if you believe that you do not understand English that well and you want to get the assistance of an interpreter. So I highly recommend that you request an interpreter so that you can answer the question and understand the question to the best of your ability and as accurately as possible. If you visit in the UK, then make sure that you answer the question as how it has been entered in the application form. For example, you're visiting somebody who's a family visitor and you're coming for 7 days. Say I'm here to visit my aunt, for example, and she lives in this place in Upton Park for a period of 7 days, because this is my first visit to London and she's my aunt, so I'm going to be staying with her. I'm going to be staying from this date to that date, so that the visa officer can note down the date that you mentioned and can match it to what you submitted in the application form. If there is a deviation between, for example, you said initially you planned for 7 days and now you're going to be having a return ticket of say 20 days, you should preempt this information to the visa officer saying, well, the officer, I want to tell you something, that when I was booking my flights or I was planning for this trip, initially I had planned for 7 days, but I changed my plan because my aunt said I can take you to certain other places, and therefore I have extended my trip from 7 days to 21 days. And I've also got the approval from the employer, which is earlier for 7 days, but now it is for 21 days. Here's the copy of the email, and you're free to call the person or email the person at this in this number, at this in this email. Now, what it immediately does for the visa case officer is they see that you are somebody who's articulate enough and suitable as a general visitor in legal terms, that you are a genuine visitor. So for example, what happens is, before you apply for the visa, you do not book for your travels, you do not book for your flights, you do not pay for that, you just have a quotation for that. But it is possible that you provide the most relevant information and accurate information at the point of submission. But it is possible that once the visa has been approved, your travel plans can change and some other details can change. So if you are stopped, you need to make sure that when you questioned, you provide the original context, that I initially planned to stay for 7 days, now the plan changed after that, and I wanted to make sure that I got the approval from my employer, so that instead of returning in 7 days, now I will return in 21 days. Here is the copy of that email, here is the approval copy, and that will show that you got strong ties to your home country, and that will be another check mark. Now, if you were to say and use language like, I don't know when I'm going to go, I'm going to just see, but I'm going to go back within 6 months. Now, the understanding is, even though the visitor visa has been granted to you for 6 months, you initially planned for 7 days, and now you're coming at the border and saying that I don't know when I'm going to go. But then they have two questions. Okay, say you're not sure when you want to go, but you will go before 6 months. Do you have a return flight ticket? If you have a one-way ticket, that is a big red flag. So please make sure that you have a return ticket. Second, you need to say that I have sufficient funds. Now, in order to show sufficient funds, they could say, can you log into your mobile and show me how much money is available to you for this trip? Now, you could be carrying prepaid travel cards, which has say pound sterling, and you can say, I've got these travel cards, this much balance is in this travel card. Besides this, I've got this much money, and I'm going to be staying at this hotel, this hotel, this hotel, and the total cost is this much. I paid for this already, so the only thing that I have to pay for is my food and my local travel, and I think that is more than enough. Now, if you satisfied like that and they believe that you will not be a burden and you will not access their public funds, which means that if you tomorrow become homeless and you've got nothing, then you will not become the burden on the UK government, and therefore that is what they need to satisfy. But if your trip becomes substantially longer than what you initially anticipated, for example, from 7 days to 3 months, and you're someone who's gainfully employed in your home country, it is a red flag that you're not a genuine visitor, because typically when you're working for an employer, the maximum you will get is 3 to 4 weeks of annual leave at a time, and that too people give it in certain two splits in a year's time. And one of the points in Rule V 4.2 A to E is that you will not have long, frequent, or successive visits or make UK as a main home. Now, if you have a travel history where you overstayed in a previous, say, Schengen area, you were supposed to go for 2 weeks, but you stayed there for 2.5 months, or you ended up working there when you didn't have the permission, or now you're changing your plans from 2 weeks to, say, 3 months, that could be a major red flag that the visa case officer is going to note down, and then they will determine by consulting their seniors whether you should be allowed entry or not. But if there is a huge deviation that is unexplained, then you have every chance of getting your entry denied. So, in my view, what you should be doing is remain honest, do not overspeak or suggest something that you're not sure of. And if somebody else has filled up your application form, you say, I have a copy of this in this application form. This is filled by my mother or father or a consultant, and but then at the end they will ask you, these are, you gave an approval that the information that you provided is accurate. Now if it happens that there is some kind of error or misunderstanding, it is up to you to clarify that. Now, y- family visit visa is for family visit. For example, you watch, there to see your aunt, you've never been to the UK and you want to take this time, they could say, which places have you decided to see? You can say, um, uh, from what I've known from my aunt, she's going to take me to, say, London Eye, Buckingham Palace, Leicester Square, Covent Garden. We also intend to go to Kent. I'm a big fan of cricket, so I'm going to watch some cricket at Lord's Cricket Ground if it's possible. And also, I'm going to go to Kent County. These are some of the places, but some of the other plans, I think you can clarify from my aunt. Her mobile number is this and this. Now, before you follow this, I want you to know that the sponsor or somebody who you're going to stay with, who has a relation with you, he or she should be notified of the elements of information that you put into the visa form, because they have provided a sponsorship declaration, their address, that yes, they will fund your stay and everything, but they may not be privy to the details that you have entered in the visa form. Now if they call, which is most often they do, to that person, if there is a deviation between the information that she gives or he gives and what you provided, it's another red flag. Now, for example, you are there only for visit visa, but they end up doing a search of your luggage and they find copies of your CVs, 10 to 15 copies. That is again a red flag, because on visit visa you're not allowed to work. So please do not carry that. If they find this is documentation like samples, that they think that you are not here for tourist purpose or family visit purpose, but actually for a business visit, right, then that will also go against you. So please do not carry any documentation, whether it's in hard copy or in soft copy, because they might access your email also, right? So please do not make the mistake of doing such thing. Also, if there is something that you're not sure of, please politely ask them, I have not fully understood your question. Could you please repeat that or help me with an interpreter so that I can understand? Because I don't want to give you wrong information. The fact that you've spoken like this is easily understandable, and they will give you credit for that, in the sense that they understand that if you've not fully absorbed the information or you're not sure, so you just answer that I do not know to the best of your information, but do not make a second guess, or do not be speculative in nature when you're not sure. Say, I do not know for sure and I don't want to mislead you, because every word that you're saying is being recorded. They're writing it, and at the end of the day, once the interview is ended, they will ask you to sign the statement. So you don't have to, but if you don't sign, then it is likely that it might be going against you. Also, something you let them know. Also, uh, carry proof of communications. For example, if you have WhatsApp messages that communicated with your aunt that I'm coming on this date, can you come and pick me up? Or if she has given you some guidance that this in this time you should come and pick me up, that can also help you to prove your case that you are a genuine visitor. And you can what you can also do is, if your plans have changed, for example, if initially you were supposed to come for 7 days but you've come now for 21 days, provide the name and email address and the phone number of the HR person who has, or your line manager who has provided the authorization for extended leave. Now the reason why I say that is that at times, if you have only got the approval of 7 days in writing, but the 21 days not in writing but orally, if you're not able to substantiate it, and if the person is unreachable, then your case weakens. So in my opinion, you here is what you should be doing, saying, really help me. If you have a proof of that in this way, and you've got a copy of that and you're carrying with yourself, it would lend you huge credibility. The reason why I say that is, sometimes people are not reachable, but if you got your official email, not your personal email, going to the official email address of the HR manager and the line manager, that itself becomes documentary proof. Because then the visa officers will say, okay, I know that I've not been able to get this person, but they will try to reach out to the reception to verify by phone. They could also ask you to confirm your bank balance on by logging in online. You might show the bank statement, but they will say, no, everybody has online banking. Can you show me exactly how much money right now is available to you? Now, if you say, I'm also carrying a credit card with the limit of so and so, you should be able to show that. But please make sure that the funds and the source of funds that you've shown are almost identical, if not fully identical, to what you have shown in the visa application. Because if there is a deviation as to what you showed in the last 31 days, or say last 28 days out of 31 days, and today in that same account there is no money available, that is going to go against you. So please make sure that the source of funds are exactly where they should be. Just because you got the visa doesn't mean that you will be granted entry clearance automatically. And also, you need to make sure that at any point of time you do not speculate and speak loudly, or deal um, answer the question in a defensive manner. For example, if they press you on a point that, how do I know that you are a genuine visitor? So I told you, why don't you look at my documentation? That might be deemed defensively. Say, thank you for asking me this question, let me help you understand how I am a genuine visitor. I have approved leave of this and this time, I've got a return flight, I'm staying at my aunt who's looking after my stay expenses, and as far as my expenses are concerned, as I put it in my application form, which you can see, here is a copy of that, I'm carrying this amount of money in my bank account and in my travel cards. I hope that is sufficient to you. If you're going to answer that, and they're going to look at your body language, how you're speaking, how you're conducting yourself, how you remain patient, and you're not sweating and puffing and getting nervous. They watch everything. And trust me on this, that they are not there to, refuse you entry unless they have serious grounds to refuse you entry to enter the United Kingdom. So please remain civil, and it is a fantastic opportunity to visit the UK. It's a beautiful country, and if you comply with the law, remain honest and accurate, I see no reason why you will not be able to clear the interview. I hope the tips that I've given and the information I have given is of some use to you. And it would mean the world to me if you subscribe to my channel, because I'm making these long form videos like how to guides and what to do, what not to do, to ensure that you enjoy your visit in the UK and you never have to face UK visa refusals or refuse entry in the UK.